Hey guys, it's Yvette, and here I am with clue number 2, and this is for the Cotton Cuts Spring 2020 Name of the Rose Puzzle Mystery Quilt. This is the large clue for Bewitched. So if you're doing the Bewitched quilt, this one is for you. Actually, they're all for everyone. It's just you'll be able to see your colorway being made into an entire quilt, which is going to be fun. And believe me, I am so excited to see all of the quilts that you guys are making. So keep posting them. And the mystery quilters, you can, if you're so inclined, you can come and join my Jelly Beanies. We have a nice little community where we sew. And it's not only things that I'm doing. Everyone's open to post pictures of any of the quilts they're working on. Ask any questions from fellow quilters, opinions about colors, thread, just seriously everything. And, you know, some personal things as well. So we do keep it private. But as long as you are so quilty inclined, you are definitely welcome. So here are the fabrics that we have received for Clue 2 for the large quilt. And I have my little cheat sheet with all my fabrics here. I have made sure that all of my pieces are have arrived safely. And I do lightly starch my fabric before I start sewing. I just like to fully disclose that. So, you know, I've heard all the arguments, don't do it. It makes your, you know, shrinks your fabric. I personally have done a little test. If you want to go and look at my video for the small Name of the Rose quilt, I'm doing the Whimsy quilt there. I did do a little experiment and I did some measurements and I did not see anything happen to shrink my fabric. So I'm not sure if that is mostly for larger pieces. I mean, seriously guys, I have no idea. All I know is I did not notice a difference. So, and probably even if I did notice a difference, I would keep doing it because this is what I prefer. You do not have to starch your fabric. You don't have to do a darn thing. All quilters make their own decisions about how they are going to move forward, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So all you're seeing here is the way I do it. It does not mean it's the right way, the wrong way. Absolutely not. Everyone should do whatever is comfortable for them. So all I'm really doing here is putting these pieces together and showing you how they're going to be put together, what order, that kind of thing. Maybe do a little explanations of why we do what we do, and that's about it. So I'm ready to get started. Okay, so it looks like we have 2 sections. We're going to have section 2A and we're going to have section 2B. So to get started, actually before I get started, what I like to do is I just scooch my fabric over just so that it's out of the way and I can just have this area for preparing. I'll even scooch this up a little bit. Okay, so we are going to take, first let's get our C triangles, which is this guy. And so here they are. We want the large ones, and we're going to make 4 of these. So I'm going to lay them out. Okay, and what we are going to do now is we are going to add a small B triangle, which are these guys. And here they are. And we're going to add one to each side. This is going to make what we call flying geese. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to sew down all of the fabric on the left side first. We'll come over and do our pressing. After we press, we will then add the right side. The reason why we do this is because you want to first have your fabric here, which this is how we would sew. We would put these together, right sides together, sew our seam allowance, come over, we're going to do our pressing, and then once you do that, when you fold this over, your other side will then overlap over the first side that you've sewed on, and that's what we want to do to get the flying geese. It's very simple. So let me head over. I'm going to sew here first. I'll just put these how they are going to get sewed down. And then once I do that, I'll come back and we will put the second side on. Okay guys, so I'm back. I have sewed the left triangle onto the larger triangle, and so now I am ready to add the pieces to the right hand side here. And as I said, when you flip over and go to sew your seam allowance here, you can see that it's overlapping the first piece that you sewed, and so then whenever we press it, it's going to make that the flying geese, and there will be a 1/4 inch seam there, so that whenever we attach something else to it, that will bring the seam allowance right where it should be, and then you'll have your point. So there we go. We are ready to sew these next pieces on, so I'll be right back. Okay, so we have completed section 2A, number 1. We have these 4 rectangles that are flying geese, and the next step is going to be joining rectangle B to the top of each of these. So this is a rectangle B. And we will take one of those. We're going to attach it to the top, which means we're going to flip it over right sides together, and we are going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance right there. And after I do that, I will do my pressing, come back, and we will move on to number 3. Okay, so I have finished combining my flying geese with the letter B rectangles. So we have those done. I'm going to put those aside because step 3 has us starting on something new. Alrighty, stick those over there. Okay, so now we are taking a large triangle B, which is this pile here, and we're going to take 4 of those. Okay, and then we are going to take the small small triangle F, which is this one. And we are going to make flying geese out of these, just like we did in step 1. Eek! Keep touching them to everything. Oops. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing where we are going to sew the left side on first. We're going to come back, and then we will sew the right side on, and we will have our flying geese. And we are, as you can see, making 4 of those. Okay, so I have sewed all of the pieces to the left side, and now we are just going to sew down the right side with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I will press those as well and come back because, yep, we got more to do with these, so I will be right back. Okay guys, so here we are. We have finished, what is this, step 3. So this is step 3 in section 2A. And now we are going to take the rectangle A, which are these, and we are going to attach one. Let's scooch some of these away. We're going to attach A to the top of each one of these 4. And once we do that, we are going to attach these 2 pieces together, and then we will have step or section 2A finished. So let me go and I'm going to sew these. I'm going to fold this down and sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance there, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, here we go. This is our number 4 that we have just finished. And if I bring back our number 2s, we are going to join these together. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to take one of those and we are going to attach it like this to one of number 2. So this is number 2, this is number 4. We're going to take a number 4 and we're going to sew it on the top of number 2. So we are going to just flip them right sides together, and then we will sew a 1/4 inch seam right down there. And once I get done with that, we will be finished with section 2A. So I will come right back with the finished product. Okay, so I have completed putting together the section 2A pieces. So as you can see, I have finished them, and I did trim up the sides just so that they were all sort of cleaned up and ready to attach. I didn't do anything special. I just trimmed off like the most minuscule piece ever, like as little as possible. Okay, so then once we have all of these, we can go ahead and label them. These are going to be labeled 2A. So I'm just going to write 2A. And I'm going to take my paper scissors and cut that out. And I will just put them on top with a Wonder Clip. And I'll set this aside. And now we are going to start section 2B. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our large B triangles, which are these, and we're going to do 4 of them. Okay. And it looks like we're making flying geese again, except this time we're going to be using different fabrics for each side. So on the left side, we are going to attach the D fabrics. We're going to take these small Ds and we're going to put them on the left side. And then it looks like they want us to have a small B on the right, but I don't have that. And I thought I had checked all of my pieces. Small B would have been 8. And I don't have any of those. I thought I had counted them all. 8A, which I have that. Wonder if I did something wrong. I'll be right back, guys. Just give me a minute. Okay, guys, so I am back, and what ended up happening is these 4 pieces were not included in my package. Now, if that ever happens to you, please just send an email right away, either to Kim, Val, or Jenny, and they will make sure that it is sent out to you ASAP, and you will get it in short order, and you'll be able to continue on your merry way. Now, for me, since I'm making video for you guys, I started hunting my entire room because, well, if you've seen my room, you know I've got quite a bit of fabric. But I think that I'm pretty sure I got some kind of a bundle of this fabric at some point, but I'm also quite sure I gave it away because I could not find it anywhere. However, I looked over like at the last second and realized that this fabric is the one that I had purchased for my backing, and I knew that I had a little more than I needed, and so it would not be a big deal for me to just cut a little strip. I didn't use the whole thing, but I just cut a small strip from it, and I used one of these pieces to cut out these because we don't know the sizes, so I just kind of laid it down and then so that I had these pieces. So there we go. Everything's solved, no big deal. But I just want to let you know that if you contact them and let them know that there are pieces missing, they do send them right out to you. I have had experience with that before. I know other people who have had that experience. It's just a mistake. There are actual people putting these packages together for us, and every once in a while a mistake can be made, but they fix it right away. So I just want to let you know that. Okay, so here we go. Here we are. We're on section 2B, and this is the first pieces. So we're taking our large B triangles, and we're going to put a small D triangle on the left and a small B fabric on the right, just like this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sew down the left side. We will flip them right sides together and put our 1/4 inch seam right there. So once I have those done, we will then press them over, and then we will attach the second or the right side. That way it's overlapping over your first one, and that's how we get our flying geese. So as soon as I have that done, I will be back and we will move on to step 2 of section 2B. Okay, so this is step 1 of section 2B. They are completed, and now we're making something totally new for number 2. So I'm gonna scooch these over for a bit. And it looks like we are going to take the large triangle D, which is this fabric, and here they are. We're going to take 4 of these. And then we are going to take the small triangle A, which are here, and that's these, And we're going to put one on each side of the triangle. Again, we are making flying geese. I love making flying geese. I don't know about you guys, but to me, they just come together so nice. Okay. So what we're going to do first is, as with all of our flying geese, we are going to we're going to flip over the left side first, right sides together, and we are going to sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance down this side. Once we are done with that, we're going to come over and we're going to do our pressing. And then that way, once the pressing is done, we can take the other side, flip it over right sides together, and then it will get a 1/4 inch seam sewed across there as well, and it will overlap your first piece, and that's how you get your flying geese. Okay, so I'm going to mark my seams because I do that. If you don't, no problem. Just head over to your sewing machine, sew your 1/4 inch seam allowance, and come right back for step number 3. Okay, here are our completed step 2s from section 2B. And now we are going to take these. Let me take these and just scooch them for a second. So we're going to take these 4 and we are going to attach a D rectangle to the bottom of each one. Okay, and then once we have joined this piece, we will be finished with step 3. So this is step 3. You will fold them right sides together, and then you will sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance right here. And as soon as I get that done, I'll be back for step number 4. Okay, so we have finished our step 3, and that is these blocks here. And the next step, or more importantly, the last step for our number 2 clue, is to add the piece that we sewed from number 1 to the bottom. And so it's going to go here. So what we'll do is we will flip it right sides together. And then we will sew our seam allowance right along here. That'll be a 1/4 inch. And as soon as we have that done and pressed, we will be finished with clue 2 for the large Bewitched quilt. So I will be right back as soon as I get that sewn and pressed. Okay, guys, step number 4, fini. So that means we have finished with clue 2 for the large Bewitched quilt. And so I am going to take the cat hair off. Just kidding. I don't know why I bother. Okay. I'm just going to stack them together just so I can label them and put them away. And here we go. Okay, so these pieces are 2B. And I'm going to take my paper scissors and cut that out. I find it much easier. I have alphabetties. I mean, I have to tell you guys, but since it's like a 2B, listen, I could sit here with the alphabetties and put them on and all of that kind of stuff, but this is just so much quicker and, you know, no biggie. Okay, so I've got my 2B, and then here are the 2A from what we finished before. And let me just kind of scooch all of this a little bit. I'm going to grab the container. So I have a whole bunch of these containers because I've got so many quilts going right now. So I just basically label everything so that I know what's inside, and then every single piece that I have that I need to keep together, I just stick it in these bins, and it's so convenient. So anyway, I'm just letting you guys know what I do. You are free to do whatever you'd like. Okay, so that was from part 1. Here I'm going to put these in. These are my part 2, and just kind of try to lay them flat. And I always keep my instructions just in case, and I put my fabric swatches on top so that I don't lose that either. And if I can get that closed, there you go. That's how I keep mine stored until next month. And so thank you so much for sewing along with this Clue 2 for the large Bewitched quilt. And I will see you guys next month. Happy sewing!